The real estate developer told his foreman to ignore me, and now his brand new excavator is buried 20 feet deep in my backyard. My name is Arthur, I'm 64, and I spent 35 years as a geotechnical engineer stabilizing cliffside highways. So when it comes to unstable ground, I know my stuff. I own a 12-acre property on a steep ridge here in Portland, Oregon. I bought it way back in 1998, specifically because I knew the bedrock was solid, as long as you didn't mess with the base of the slope. Well, guess what happened? A new luxury condo project, The View, started building right below me. To expand their parking lot, they had to cut into the base of my hill. The problem is, my deed has a strict restriction against any excavation within 50 feet of my property line for this exact reason. When their survey team showed up, I went down to meet them. Armed with my original site schematics, I met Brad, the project manager, a guy who acted like his clipboard made him an expert geologist. I tried to explain that the soil was marine sediment over a layer of clay, which gets incredibly slick when it's wet. If they cut into the toe of that slope, the entire ridge would slide. Brad just laughed, called me a NIMBY, and said their big shot engineering firm had already signed off on the plans. I asked to see their report, and he told me to get off his construction site. So, I took the official route. I sent a certified letter to their corporate headquarters and the city planning office. I even attached my own soil stability analysis from 20 years ago, plus a new stress test I paid $2,000 for. My warning was crystal clear: 1 inch of rain, and you lose that wall. Their response: a cease and desist letter for harassment, and they built a huge spite fence to block my view. They started digging that Tuesday. By Thursday, they had a 15-foot vertical wall carved right at my property line. And on Friday, the weather forecast called for an atmospheric river. I knew what was coming. I set up 3 time-lapse cameras and calmly moved my patio furniture to safety. The rain started at 2 in the morning. By 6, I heard a sound like a jet engine. The clay layer had completely liquefied. It was like watching a slow-motion disaster. 4,000 tons of mud, trees, and their brand new spite fence slid down the hill. It crashed into their retaining wall, which crumpled like a soda can, and completely buried their $300,000 excavator in the corner of their building. The slide stopped just 5 feet from my house, exactly where my calculations predicted it would. Their insurance adjuster showed up the next day, looking stressed. I just handed him a USB drive. On it was the time-lapse footage, copies of my certified warnings, and my professional credentials. The guy went pale when he realized their policy had an ignored warnings clause. Brad was fired before the mud even dried. The city red-tagged the entire project. To fix the mess, they needed access from the top of the slope through my driveway. They had no other option, so I made them an offer. They would pay for a $500,000 top-tier retaining wall to secure my property forever. They'd also pay me $150,000 in damages for the stress, and cover my landscaping for life. They signed the deal in less than 48 hours. Now, I have a fortress in my backyard and a great view of their much, much smaller parking lot. So, let me know in the comments.